Hi guys, welcome back to Beer Tour and Soul. This is Jonathan. Today, I got a beer for you. It's called The Standard of Ale by Platinum Brewery. In Korean, it's called Ale Cheongseok. There's a lot of name for it, but the brewery named it The Standard Pale Ale. Cheongseok, there isn't really a definite translation in word. It just feels different. So you could say by the book, by the rule, or the origin, or as simple as the right way. So the right way of ale made by the book, ale made by the rule. So it's just trying to emphasize it's the standard ale, and that pale ale is supposed to taste like this. And in the back of the label, they have a quote that says, "We found the answer for beer." So what this tells us is that the pale ale was originally made in England. In the history, the original pale ale were created in England, and the style has sparked the American craft beer scenery. So if we look at it in a universal way, the American pale ale. So if we look at the craft beer world, and if we were to just on top of our heads, what's the top ales that are out there among all the styles? Then we just right away think of the American pale ale instead of the England pale ale. It's because it's similar to like this kind of situation. So when we think of McDonald's, it's burgers. Right? Burgers, we right away on top of our head. If someone asks you the burger place, and then you have to answer it in a quick second, you'll say McDonald's. It's just like that. Ale, American pale ale. So don't get confused. Although the pale ale is created originally from England, but universally, just everybody just knows it. It's American pale ale. So if you look at the label, it's very white in color. Everything. The texts are in black, red, brown, and of course their logo in a gold round ring, black, gold logo of Platinum Brewery. The pale ale, the standard pale ale by the Platinum Brewery is 5.2% alcohol. And let's take a look inside. So the color is deep gold. At first scent, I can smell the American style of tangerines, grapefruit, and there's definitely the earthiness of it, which I like. It reminds me of the beautiful scenery of nature. And the taste now. It's citrus. It's mild citrus, not strong citrus. There's definitely citrus there. From the first moment when I poured the beer into a glass, there was a characteristic of the earthiness. There was a grapefruit and a tangerine. So right away, because you already thought of those type of flavors, of course in the first sip, I would imagine just those tangerine, grapefruit, and the earthiness just flows in. And yes, there was, but however, I can also taste the caramelized flavor from the malt. Crispy and biscuit. It's very light. I want to say that a lot of American pale ales that are out there, and it usually leaves you with that end taste, that clinging, full, rich flavors from the beer until the end. As long as you have that minimal liquids present on top of your palate, you would still feel that earthiness, grapefruit, tangerine, caramel, and biscuity flavors just going in a circle in your mouth. But however, this standard ale by the Platinum Brewery has clean taste, but there is no end taste really. It just quickly washes off from the mouth, and it's very light. It's a very light beer that I can enjoy one beer, one after another, very easily, and I can assume that I could make consumption of a lot of beer like this. You know, instead of the strong ones where you can only have 1 to 3 cans maximum. But this is an easily enjoyable beer that you can have as many as you want and enjoy it with your friends and families. Yeah, I just love how there is a full rich flavor just flows in the first, and then as you swallow it, the flavor just quickly washes off and just disappears. That's how light it is. It's very enjoyable. It's very, very, very good. You know, in ale like this, especially for American Pale Ale. Like I said, there is a end taste, and mostly the end taste you would feel that bitterness from the brewing processes of the American Pale Ale. However, since this was quickly washing off and no end taste, I almost feel that they purposely dragged out or excluded that bitterness to make it into a easily enjoyable beer, which is something that I like. Especially in Korea, you know, like there's a lot of people, not just few minor groups that are searching for the craft beer now, but we are mostly attached to just standard lager tastes, you know, those carbonated, heavily carbonated and refreshing beers, massive production beers. And I think this could be it, you know, like a beer like this, even though American Pale Ale is bitter and mostly people who would first try other beers than the standard massive produced lager beers, they would feel negative towards the bitterness of those craft beers. However, since this has almost feels like they've excluded the bitterness purposely, I think this will be a lesson that can be taught to the people who have never tried a craft beer before in their lives, and teach them that there are beers like this that you could taste so much better than just carbonation and, you know, refreshingness from the malts, which is also a good characteristic of a beer. However, you can also taste the rich flavors from the hops, malt brewing process. With a different brewing process, you can bring out about a whole lot different taste of the beer. And I think this will be the standard level where you can teach those people who never had a craft beer in life that there are a lot of beers that are out there that you can search for and that fits their own references. And so I think this will be a perfect beer, just like the name suggests it. The standard pale ale, standard pale ale, or the ale made by the book, ale made by the rule, ale made the right way.
Ale made the right way.
I think I would give about 3.2 out of 5 for this beer, because although this is a good lesson for those people who have not tried cheap craft beer for their entire life, and this will be the easy entry level for those people to, you know, recognize, start trying to adapt and recognize the craft beer in the future. This could be their reference, starting reference, and one of the tastes that they can adapt easily without having any negativity of the taste, since they have pulled out that bitterness that could be a faulty to the newcomers. However, as for the person who knows already that there are a lot of craft beers that are out there, I think this will be just too simple, and you put it in a bit of a harsh expression, I say it's boring. However, it's enjoyable, yes, and I think this will go along really well with the homemade burgers or pizza or a spicy food. There is no clinging end taste, so if you're having foods like that, the strong taste of meat from burgers or pizza, the cheese, or spicy food, the hotness, you know, if the bitterness would cling on if the bitterness just stays on top of your palates after just swallowing it, all that food's flavor with the beer flavor will remain in your mouth with that bitterness especially. And I think that would be definitely a good point to point out, that this clean taste would just wash off all the foods right away, and refreshingness will be remained in mouth, and you can make a consumption of the foods continuously at the same time with this beer. So that's it for today, and thank you again for watching my video. You are always welcome back to the Beer Tour in Seoul, and I am Jonathan. Today I looked at the beer, the Standard Ale by Platinum Brewery, and please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and like this video, and I will come back with a whole lot of interesting beers that are out there in Korea. Please go ahead and try these beers if you're in Korea. If you have one in your local areas from the other countries, please go ahead. Anyways, thank you very much. Bye bye.